Hello, I'm Dr. Guy Yatros from Dental Sleep Solutions and DS3, and today we have a patient, Ms. Byers, who has reached the end of her advancement on a dorsal device. So in other words, she's turned it as many turns as it'll go, and her jaw will still go more forward, and we want to titrate the device a little further. So I'm going to show you today how you can add acrylic to the distal of the dorsal in order to back up the adjustment, and now we can go 5 more millimeters forward. So it just takes a few minutes. We just need some acrylic, some bite registration material, acrylic burr, and a way to add the acrylic to the distal of the dorsal. So the first thing we're going to do is take a bite at her current position. As we can see, bite down, stick your jaw forward. She still has 4 or 5 more millimeters that she can move her jaw forward. So we again want to be able to not have to send us back to the lab to make this adjustment. Can you open for me? What we're doing here is we're going to make an index of her bite. So bite down, just like that. Okay, you feel like you're normal there?
Mm-hmm.
About 45 seconds, and that'll be all we need you for a bit. Okay, now our material's hard. I'm going to ask you to open, and I'm just going to take this whole thing out at once. Go ahead and open. And we're going to take that out, and we can see we have an index of where her bite is. And I'm going to reverse this back and then add acrylic to the distal of the wing. So now that we have our index, we're just going to back up the device all the way back to its original position. And we'll do this on both sides, and you'll see we have about 5 more millimeters now of acrylic we can add to continue to advance this patient. Okay. Now we have a little excess material here, so it won't seat. I don't know if you can see that. So what I'm going to do is make sure if it doesn't seat, just all you have to do is trim this excess material here where now that attachment's moved back. And now it should seat on here just fine. Ta-da. So now we have an index as to how much to add here. Okay, I'm going to roughen up the distal of each of these, and then we're going to Vaseline the upper so we don't stick to it. So now we're just going to roughen up the distal of the wing to allow it to bond better. So now we're just going to put a little something like petroleum jelly or something on the top, the maxillary arch, to keep any excess acrylic from sticking to it. All right, you can see now we've got all the excess material from the bite registration cutaway. We've roughened up the edge. We have petroleum jelly on the top, and we're ready to add to the distal and just fill in the spaces. All we have to do. As usual, I made more than we needed by about 3 times. That's okay, it's better than not enough. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of liquid monomer and put it on the distal of each of these. Just prime them a bit. Add acrylic. Keep it on our binding surface. Make sure you don't get acrylic underneath. See how much we need there. By our index. Okay, I'm going to try it back on one more time. Make sure we're golden. You know, you'd rather have too much than not enough, but the more you can trim off at this point, the more that the less you're going to have to mess with once it's hard. So pretty good. Compact it in to make sure it's nice up against the distal. Looking pretty good. More time with this to make it nice and smooth. Okay, I'm going to check the lingual to make sure there's nothing we need to do there. That's pretty good there. We'll have a little bit of trimming to do where it meets the blue mousse. At this point, I'm going to leave the blue mousse on there, I think. And now you can just let it sit, or if you have hot water and you want it to go quicker, you can pour it in your pressure pot. And I always just do this in a sink because these pots overflow. Put it in there. Tighten this down. Pressure pot's not mandatory, but it will make less voids and a little stronger, so. That's it. We'll wait a couple of minutes, about 5 minutes, and we're going to trim it up. All right, take it out of the pressure pot, and this is what it looks like. And all we're going to do is just take this bite registration material away. And some of it might get caught right there, and that's what we have. And I'm just going to smooth it down now to all the rough edges, and we'll try it back in and have our patient on her way. All right, we're ready to try this back in on Miss Byer here. We have, if you can see, I don't know if you can see close up, we've just added about 5 millimeters of acrylic to both sides. And if you can see on this side, I left the clasp open. She's not wearing the elastics, so if you see the other side, I just went ahead and buried the clasp on the other side. I could always open it up if we need to, but be careful on that if they are wearing the elastics to make sure you leave it open if you have the ball clasp there for the elastics. So it's just, we got it nice and smooth, and it's just added to it, and we're going to try it in, and it should be, if you'll notice now, we have the attachment there all the way, almost all the way back. I left 4 turns just in case we need it to adjust it any. But we can go now 5 more millimeters forward if need be for the patient to titrate further. So you want to go ahead and try it in for me? Does it feel about like it always does?
Yes.
Let's take a quick look. Bite down. Okay. So there you have it. If you have a patient who has reached the end of their adjustability on a dorsal device, use this method. It takes 30 to 40 minutes. A team member can do it. And now our patient can further advance their device if indicated. No need to send it back to the lab and the patient to go without the device. This works quite readily, and it can be done right in your own office. So thanks again for reading and watching this issue of Dental Sleep Medicine Insider. And let us know if we can help you with any of your dental sleep medicine implementation needs.